keep choosing days to do these challenges for you guys that aren't probably the most ideal weather conditions for the lure choice. Oh, and as I say that, there we go. What is going on, everybody? You guys voted on Instagram for the next lure for the One Lure Challenge video series, and you guys chose the swim jig. And I thought I'd change things up a little bit this week, and we are at a city park this week. There's 3 different ponds on it, so we've got some options. And as usual, I'm giving myself an hour and a half to see how many fish I can catch with just one lure type. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to fishing. Okay. Well, you guys voted on Instagram. You guys wanted to see me fish with swim jigs, and that's what we're gonna do today. We've got a city park with 3 different ponds at it, one of which is pretty much clear, and the other is, well, I'm sorry, the other 2 are actually pretty much chocolate milk. So I've got a white, blue, and chartreuse. Oh, I'm sorry, white, blue, and yellow, kind of like a shad pattern on a swim jig here. So that's option number 1. And then we've got option number 2 already rigged up right here, which is more of a bluegill pattern. So we've got trailer options in the bag, got scissors, pliers. All right, we've got our caffeine. All right, so my thought is that I'm gonna start over here at the big pond, because that's the one with clear water. And I'm just thinking we're gonna have easier luck getting a bite in clear water than cloudy water right now. We just had a cold front come through. It's pretty chilly out, actually. It's like 58. Feels freaking amazing compared to the 90-something we've been dealing with for the past couple weeks. So, if you guys have seen the series before, you know the deal. If not, we've got an hour and a half. So what time is it right now? It is, we're just gonna call it 8:30. So we've got until 10 o'clock to see what we can do. And since we're starting in clear water, I'm gonna start with this bluegill colored swim jig from Strike King. And I'm going to apologize in advance for the wind and the fountain noise. It's probably gonna be pretty loud. And I will do what I can in post for you guys. And if it's too bad, we'll just go to another pond that's quieter and I'll redo the video. But we're gonna try to make this work today. Now, I wanted to do a new pond just because I feel like eventually you guys are gonna get sick of seeing that one pond and all those small little fish. And I know there's some pretty decent sized bass in this pond, even though it is rather small. So we're gonna see what happens. Once again, we're only using swim jigs, so we're gonna see how well that works with a little bit of wind going. And if you guys are looking for tips for swim jigs, I'm really not the guy to talk to, not yet anyway, because I only recently just started figuring them out myself. The 2 ways I've gotten bites on them so far is just by kind of barely bouncing my rod on the retrieve, just trying to give it that, you know, that swimming motion. And then also I've gotten bit on just a straight retrieve, kind of slow rolling it over the top of grass. So we're gonna see what happens. And this is the first time of me actually filming a full-blown like video at a public park like this. So we'll see how that goes as well. There's like a kids' day camp over on one part, and they can get pretty loud. And if you guys ever watch my shorts, you'll kind of recognize this pond as where I caught that snapping turtle on a frog. I'm still on a mission to catch my very first frogfish too, so if you guys would like to see a series of videos where I'm trying to catch my first frogfish, let me know. If you want to see somebody struggle, watching me fish with a topwater frog is painful for me doing it, so I can only imagine watching it wouldn't be that great. We had a small bite. We had a bite. We had a bite. No, that one was grass. That was not a bite. That was just grass. So one thing I do like about swim jigs, even though I'm very new to them and I don't know a lot about them, is these things come through grass very easily. It's almost difficult to get hung up on something. I've used them now around a lot of wood, a lot of rock, a lot of grass, and they seem to work pretty well anywhere. As long as you're, you know, making smart casts and not purposely trying to get it hung up. Pretty weedless little setup. I like it. And when you do get a good bite on one, it's not always guaranteed to be a big fish, obviously, but they seem to hit a swim jig with all of their might. Like when they bite a swim jig, they seem to not want to let it go at all. Bunch of frog eggs must have hatched recently. There's all kinds of little tadpoles over here by the bank. I'm seeing just 3 just in this little hole right here in front of me. We're about to have a whole bunch of new froggies in this pond. And man, these are some grassy ponds at this park, let me tell you. Lots of grass, lots of pond scum on the grass. This is one of those ponds I wish they would let me dredge out, or at least take a magnet fishing kit into with a boat, because I see people lose lures here all the time. Because a lot of people come out here and throw like treble hooks, or they're throwing, you know, stuff on bobbers, and the fish swims off with the bobber and they're not paying attention and gets wrapped around something. Another good thing about a swim jig is you can feel a lot with it. Like I can feel as soon as it picks up grass, I can feel it immediately. And I know that I'm gonna have to get grass off the lure when it comes back, which I like. I like knowing what my lure is doing. And I've got a much more appropriate setup for these lures today than I did in the last video. If you remember the Texas rig video, I was using this exact setup that I have in my hand right now. It's Daiwa Tatsula, 15-pound fluorocarbon on it. Guggen Go-To, medium heavy, fast action, 7-foot rod. But this time, the lure is actually the appropriate size for the setup, so much smoother to reel and cast than that teeny tiny Texas rig I was using in the last video. Now, as you saw, we still made it work, but it was a bit of a struggle at times trying to not backlash that thing, just because it was so light. And being that there was a cold front that just came through last night and cooled everything off a lot, I don't know how active these fish are going to be eating. Oh, well, that was a bite. They're just kind of nipping at it, though. It doesn't feel like they're actually trying to take the whole jig in their mouth. I keep choosing days to do these challenges for you guys that aren't probably the most ideal weather conditions for the lure choice. Oh, and as I say that, we've got a fish. He's not huge. There are way bigger fish than this in this pond, that is for sure. But man, he choked it. He's been caught a few times. You can tell by that hole in his face. That is a warm fish too compared to the air temp. We're gonna take a quick picture of this guy. Boom. Oh no, come back. All right, well, I did get my picture. He is slapping the crap out of me. We're gonna get him back. Bye, buddy. Eat. Go on. There you go. All right, well, that's fish number 1. Cool. It didn't even take that long. And I just almost stepped on my phone. All right. Sweet. Fish number 1 on the swim jig. on the Strike King. I believe this is the tour grade swim jig that they make. Sweet, let's get another one. That didn't take too long at all. Oh my gosh, I just had another bite right there. Wow. Okay. I think we figured out where the fish are, because that was 2 casts in a row that I got bit on. The second one caught me way off guard, so I did not get a hook set at all in him. But hey, that's very, very encouraging though. Oh, that was another one. Getting a little too anxious. I need to let them eat it a little more. They are hitting it hard. I think they're just little guys. There we go. There's another fish. Yeah, we definitely figured out where they are. There's another little guy though. But we'll take him. Come back, dude. These little dudes are always so slippery. And now he doesn't want to let go. There we go. Come on, buddy. There it goes. All right, we're not gonna bother with a picture on the phone. We got him. Let's put him back. Fish number 2 on the swim jig. Thanks, buddy. And there he goes. We're off to a good start. We've definitely found where these fish are at in this pond, at least. They are over here on this side, and they are hitting it right on the edge of the grass line, like right where there's a little bit of drop off. They're hitting it so fast though. I'm not getting great hook sets in, it doesn't feel like, but they're getting stuck, so hard to argue when you're getting results, right? We're gonna see if there's some more over here that would like to bite it. Come on, give us a bigger one. Everywhere on fishing YouTube says swim jigs and swim baits are great for summer, and I'm starting to believe them. We haven't even been filming for 20 minutes yet and we've already caught 2 fish. Like, that's awesome. Super awesome. Oh, looks like my paddle tail got stuck on the hook. That doesn't really help anything. But we're gonna stay in this little spot for a few more minutes because we've already caught 2 fish right here without moving. But if we don't get a bite here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll start working our way back the other way on the pond. And if they start biting real good, what we'll do is we'll catch a limit here in this pond, which, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure every state's different, but here in Ohio, it's a 5 fish limit if you were gonna take them home. And they have to be, I believe, over 12 inches. As I was saying, if they start biting real good, what we'll do is catch a limit in one pond and then go to the next and try to catch a limit there. Because, like I said, there's 3 ponds here at this park. And you know the goal with these one lure challenge videos really is to just not get skunked. And we've accomplished that. So now it's a game of how many can we catch on just a swim jig. Now I want to remind you guys that if you want to have a say in the next one lure challenge video, I'm going to start doing the poll for that exclusively on Instagram. So if you want to have a say in these videos, make sure you go to the link in my channel bio and head over to my Instagram and follow me there, because once a week I post a story poll for everybody to vote on the next one lure challenge video. So that's where you should go if you want to have a say in what I use in these videos. We are working our way back this way on the pond because I need some more caffeine, and that's where I sat my coffee. And I'd like to go over to the other side of the pond too, just to kind of see if we can catch anything over there. The grass is longer and extends further out over there, so it's not as ideal as you would really want. But hey, 2 fish in the first, I don't know, 16, 17 minutes of recording this video. I'd say that is a pretty dang good start, if I do say so myself. And like I said, I wish I could kind of give you guys more tips on how to fish a swim jig, but I'm so new to using them that I really can't tell you much more than what you're seeing and what I've already said about them. They come through the grass well. You can kind of hop your rod a little bit like this while you're reeling it in to give it kind of a swimming action, or you can just do a slow straight retrieve. Especially if you've got like a paddle tail on there, you don't need to give it too much action, I feel like, because the paddle tail is actually giving it the majority of the action it has. It's that paddle tail and that skirt. So if I had a crawfish on there, which is what I started trying to use, then I would be giving it a lot more action with my rod tip, but I've got a paddle tail on there because it is no longer spring, and I just feel like they're chasing fish more than craws right now. A lot of the times in the spring when they're eating crawfish, it's A, because that's the most active food source at the time, but B, also the crawfish will get into their beds and eat their eggs. So a lot of the times when they're eating the crawfish, it's more of a defensive thing. Not because that's what's tasty at the moment, you know? At least that's kind of what it seems like to me from my fishing experience. Obviously, I am not an expert on any of this stuff. I mean, I've been seriously fishing for bass for about 45 years now, and I've still never even caught a fish on a topwater frog. I've gotten them on buzz baits, walking baits, poppers, but the topwater frog, just, that hookup eludes me. The only thing I have successfully hooked up on is a snapping turtle. And if you want to see that little clip, I will leave it in an info card at the top of your screen right now. It's caffeine time. Ah, that's better. All right, let's start walking this way. And we're just gonna walk our way around the pond, and we're gonna fish our way back around the pond. And if we don't get a bite within that time, then we're gonna switch ponds, because we've got options today. Yeah, see, we're getting grass on almost every cast now. Yeah, it's gotten really, really bad on this side. We're not gonna go that way, actually. It's just gotten so freaking grassy on that side of the pond that I don't feel like picking stuff off of my bait every single cast. It doesn't sound like a good time to me. So we're gonna stick to this side. I didn't realize that the grass had grown out that far from that bank. And remember, we do have a whole other swim jig that we can use, which is much brighter than this bluegill pattern. But I wanted to start with the bluegill pattern here because I don't see much of a point in throwing a white one in this super clear water over here. You know, maybe if it was cloudy out, that would be a good move, but I am just not confident in the color white in this clear water. All right, so here is my plan. The challenge is an hour and a half, and we're almost a half an hour in. So once we are 30 minutes in, so at 9 o'clock, here in about 4 or 5 minutes, we're gonna go switch to another pond. And we're gonna do that every half hour. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Okay, it is now past 9. So, it is time to switch ponds. Much darker, much slimier. Don't know how this is gonna go, but we've got a white swim jig tied on, which should make it stand out a bit in this super, super muddy water over here in this pond. Okay. Got a white and blue and yellow Grass Hero swim jig from Guggen Baits. Super murky water. Let's see what happens. This one I've got on my Mach 1 speed stick. I believe it's 7 foot, medium heavy, fast taper, which I'd never heard of before buying this rod. And my Mach 1 reel actually exploded in my hand not long ago. Oh, there we go, fish number 3. That was really quick in this one. Okay, white swim jig, correct option in this particular pond, it looks like. And right in the top of the mouth. All right. He's kind of a, he's got something going on, man. He's a little crooked. But that's okay, we don't discriminate. You're a little crooked fish, that's okay, buddy. We like crooked fish just as much as we like the straight ones. So here you go. Gotta kind of yeet you because I don't want to get you stuck all in that grass and weed. Yeet. Sweet. All right, well, that was fast. I didn't expect to get bit that quick in this murky, murky water. What was that, second cast with this one? That was awesome. Let's see if we can make that happen again. And he hit it right up against the bank, it seemed like, too. Yeah, that was second or third cast. That was crazy. But I feel like a lot of people don't fish over here in this one because it looks so gross. Like, it's really not that disgusting, though. It's just muddy. There's a lot of grass underneath. So people catch a lot of grass, they'll cast a couple times, bring up a huge handful of grass and weeds, and then they kind of give up on the spot. But this swim jig is coming through just fine. But we've got this on 20-pound braid, no leader. I don't like using leaders. It's just too much. I'd rather just get to fishing. I'm sure that'll upset some people, like, oh, you should always use the leader, man. You should always, hush. You fish how you want to fish. I'll fish how I want to fish. And straight braid does just fine for me. But how awesome is that? That's 3 fish on the day so far. We're at the second pond of the day in the same park. It's a little bit quieter over here. No fountains, just one bubbler out on the other side of the pond. And it's a little further away from the kids' day camp area that they use. The audio should be a lot better over here on this pond, if nothing else. And we're gonna give this one a half an hour, and then we are gonna go and try the last pond for the last half hour, which is actually even murkier than this. So that should be interesting. I've caught a snapping turtle in that pond as well. That's not a snapping turtle though, that is fish number 4. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Man, they are fired up today. This guy choked it. Almost got himself in the gill plate. There we go. Fish number 4. Sweet, he's got like a weird little spot on his scales right there. But that is awesome. We will take it. Fish number 4 on the day. Thanks for playing, Timmy. We're gonna get you out past them weeds with a quick yeet. Sweet. Guys, this is going so much better than I expected it to go. We're catching fish, man. And at a public city park pond. That's not the easiest thing to do. These fish see lures all day, every day. So if you're not throwing something that they haven't seen, you're probably not even gonna get bites. Luckily, it seems like here in central Ohio, and I'm sure somebody in the comments can back me up on this, bass fishing is kind of just recently started getting popular, at least from what I've seen. My whole childhood, everybody talked about bass, but I never saw people catching them really. It was always catfish, it was always bluegill, walleye were always a pretty popular fish to catch when I was a kid. But everybody I knew, they all wanted to go for catfish or bluegill, and this is what makes most people leave this pond is when they get hung up in this kind of stuff. This is what makes people lose lures in this pond. It's not logs, it's not trees and hang-ups and structure, it's this heavy, thick, sloppy pond grass that you can't see on the surface because it is very well submerged. But if you can find your way around that stuff sometimes, man, you'll get, there's big fish in all these ponds out here. It's just trying to get them to actually bite anything is challenging because they see everything. But I don't think there's a lot of people who use the right lures at the right times either. I see people in the dead middle of summer, no wind, broad clear skies, and they're throwing, you know, white chartreuse spinner baits in open water. Like, bass fishing is not a, I don't know, it's just the guys who I see bass fishing around Ohio are either just starting or they're in boats. Like, not a whole lot of people fish for them in these ponds, it seems like. Everybody wants catfish. But back to my original point, that I think that's why this swim jig is working so good today, because I don't think these fish see them very often. But hey, that's 2 ponds, 2 fish from each of them so far. I'd say we're doing great. Great for this challenge today. And it's getting close to time to switch ponds. We've got about another 12 or 13 minutes left over here at this one. And then we're gonna have to walk over to the back of the park where the final pond is located. We've got about another 4 minutes in this pond and we go try the final one. Another good thing about fishing with really any kind of jig that I've noticed is that even the heavy ones, when they hit the water, they're pretty subtle. I mean, you can make it dang near silent when it hits the water if you know how to thumb it right. Okay. That's 30 minutes here. It is time to go to the final pond of the day and the final pond in the park. And just in time, because I need some new caffeine in my system. And we need to do something about the, oh no. Okay, we're good. We didn't spill all of it. Only a little. No big deal. Okay, but yeah, let's get a second battery at least ready. So that we can finish this challenge up. If you guys are wondering what this is, it's just a small little dry bag that I put the stuff that I don't want getting wet in. And it's just a little added protection. All right, we're gonna kind of try to walk fast because again, any time spent not fishing is still counting in the challenge. So we don't have a whole lot of time left. And like I said, guys, this is just a public city park. It just so happens to have 3 good-sized fishing ponds in it. Ah, and there's someone else fishing this pond as well, so we're gonna try to stay away from him and not bother him. Coffee is empty. Always throw away your litter, people. Over here by Mr. Robin. What's going on, Mr. Birdie? All right, we're gonna set the bluegill down. We're gonna pick up the white and blue again. Because again, this third pond, like the previous one, is basically like chocolate milk. Oh, that was a bite already though. That's a good sign. That was a good sign. And there, as far as I know, there's not as much grass in this pond as the other two. But I don't know for sure because I don't fish in this pond very often. Usually when I come to this park, I've only got like a few minutes to fish the ponds for just a little bit. So it's not a spot that I kind of venture deeper into very often. Oh, that was a bite. Okay, we're getting bit though. I know that was a bite because there's no grass on my jig. And we just need to slow the jig down a little bit. Maybe give it a few hops. Come on. Come on, we've had 2 bites. Give me a third one. All right, so that went way better than I actually expected it to go. Especially in that second pond with how murky it was. I didn't expect to get bit at all. But we caught 2 fish in the first pond with the bluegill colored swim jig, and then we caught 2 fish in the second pond with the white, blue, and yellow swim jig. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Go ahead, hit subscribe, make sure the bell notification is turned on so you can see when videos are dropping first. And be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what kind of content you guys would like to see in the future. And go over to my Instagram page if you want to have a say in the next 1 lure challenge video. That is where you can cast a vote. I'll be posting a poll here in the next couple of days. So yeah, guys, everybody, please be safe, be kind, take it easy, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.